I love Shefty, too, how strong he is about Odell. If I was Odell,
A lot of conviction.
I wouldn't even show up at mandatory minicamp.
Yeah, take a listen on Mike and Mike.
Odell Beckham Jr. cannot afford to step back into that building unless the Giants say to him, we won't use you during mandatory minicamps. We want you here, but you won't be out there on the practice field.
Can't afford to step out there.
Well, you don't want to risk injury, and I understand that. But, I mean, you're talking about glorified jog-throughs. I mean, the practices, there's limited contact, there's no pads. So, I mean, what are we really talking about? You know, especially when you start talking about Odell Beckham Jr. Players understand we need number 13 long term. We're only going to play a certain way around him. Janoris Jenkins, those guys in the secondary, they know how to practice without, risking one of your best players in your locker room getting hurt.
But he should be there, though. And I think what Shefty's saying is he'd be there if the Giants assured him that you can be here, but you don't have to be on the field. But I thought he didn't have to do anything.
Well, I guess Odell's camp would say, well, if you want him here and it's so important for him to be here, then you would just give him a contract extension.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are we waiting on? You already know the parameters of the deal. You know what this is going to cost you in the ballpark of $18 million. I mean, let's go ahead and get the deal done.
I don't know
Doesn't
how
it make sense for all sides involved? If you want Odell Beckham Jr. there, you recognize his importance, his impact on winning. You want to capitalize on this window that you have with Eli Manning and this defense to win a championship.
Right.
Why not get the deal done so this is not a distraction?
What kind of arrogance do you have to have an awful playoff performance after a season where your offense was not very good, and for a part of the beginning of the season you weren't very good, and yet you want to get paid now?
I have that type of
I'd rather you come to me like that after you had a spectacular game
but I'm
on
gonna tell you
Lambeau
why,
Field.
I'm going to tell you why he has
instead of the banana boat, and then you can't catch a pass.
You
all
know
of a
why
sudden.
he has that kind of arrogance? It's because he learned in his second year that he's more important than the head coach.
Wow.
When they suspended him and they realized that he had to be on the field and Tom Coughlin couldn't discipline him, and he realized that the organization made a decision, okay, we're going to move on from Tom Coughlin. We're going to go in another direction, in part because we recognize that this number 13, this guy, he's going to be in the long-term plans of our franchise. And he's going to be the direction that we're moving toward. And we're committed to him. So that message that they sent Odell Beckham Jr., if Tom Coughlin, two-time winning Super Bowl coach, can't discipline me, then who in the organization is going to discipline me?
So he feels he's bigger than the team.
Whose authority am I going to respect?
I would hope there's someone in that locker room can hold him accountable.
Ben McAdoo has already come out and said he needs to mature, he needs to grow up. Eli Manning has said he needed to stop being a distraction in the way that he framed it. And Eli is always cautious in terms of the language that he uses. But he said as much in as many words last year during the season. We all understand, some of the things that Odell Beckham Jr. brings to the table in terms of the baggage. But everybody acknowledges his greatness in terms of his impact, his production on the field.